Sitting on the park bench, eyeing little girls with bad intent. Hey, Aqualung, drying in the cold sun.
Way back in 1987, Disney debuted the animated TV series DuckTales. It's really hard to believe that was 20 years ago. It really makes me feel old. The main character of DuckTales was Scrooge Mcduck, whose claim to fame was that he happened to be the richest duck in the world. He was also a cheap-ass tightwad, but they say one of the reasons why people are so rich is because they're so cheap. Anyway, to maintain his status as the richest duck in the world, Scrooge often gets caught up in intercontinental adventures to steal artifacts, treasures, and other items of valuable importance. On the NES version of DuckTales, the plot isn't all that much different. You play as Scrooge, of course. You end up traveling to various areas of the globe, plus the fucking moon. And all this in order to collect as much money as possible, and essentially to make the rich richer. Where the hell's Robin Hood when you need him? On the other hand, Scrooge does deserve a lot of credit for being past his prime age-wise, and still going out to obtain these treasures himself, despite the fact that he's rich enough to hire someone to do it. Although that would cost him money, and he's a cheap bastard, so I guess that explains it. You can choose one of 3 difficulty levels, which is a great addition as it'll keep you from getting bored or frustrated with the game. So you start off sitting in front of a giant computer in Duckburg, where Scrooge along with his nephews Huey, Dewey, and Louie plot out which area they want to explore. You can pick any of the game's 5 levels in any order you want, and it really doesn't matter which one you pick first. So you go through each level mostly collecting diamonds that'll add up your money total. At the end of each level, you'll battle a boss who is guarding each of the treasures you're out to steal. You start off with 3 hit points, but you can collect up to 2 more if you can find them. Depending on what difficulty you select, you may be able to take more hits. Along the way, you'll run into various characters from the show. Huey, Dewey, Louie, and Webby will provide you with tips, or get themselves kidnapped and need you to rescue them. Launchpad will offer a ride back to Duckburg where you can stash away your money and go back through the level again to rack up your cash total. Gizmo Duck clears a path for you. Bubba gives you an extra hit point after you save him from freezing his ass off. And Mrs. Beakley gives you some ice cream to build up your health meter. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that ice cream and cake are not only healthy in this game, but they can save your life. So I guess the moral in this game is, he who dies with the most toys wins, so be as greedy as possible. And that sugar-infested desserts are really, really good for you. You use your cane in several different ways. You can pogo jump with it to move throughout the level faster, and you can also knock this metal barrel or whatever it is to another spot to give you a boost, or to take out an enemy. There are 2 endings to the game. One is the regular ending, and one is the quote-unquote good ending. To get the good ending, you have to find 2 hidden treasures as well as collect at least $10 million. If you want the good ending, then you should attack as many enemies as you possibly can in hopes of retrieving some extra money. Also avoid shortcuts and try to explore as much of the level as possible. And using Launchpad to send you back to Duckburg after collecting as much as you can will surely help. The only thing is, after Launchpad brings you back, he won't be able to give you a lift from that level again, so be sure you've gotten as much money as possible before taking off. Almost everything about this game is done well. The graphics are great, all the characters are recognizable, the controls are tight and respond well, the music is awesome, and the gameplay is fun. The only thing that really could have seen some improvement is the fact that the game is just too short. There's only 5 levels, plus a final level at the end, which just happens to be an exact replica of one of the original 5 levels. They really could have packed a few more into it, maybe 8 to 10 levels, and it would have been perfect. But regardless, it's not going to ruin the game for you. It'll just make you wish you could have played it a little bit more. There is a bonus stage, but you get there in a weird fashion. If you have a 7-digit in the 10,000s place on your money total, like 70,000, 170,000, 270,000, etc., and you have Launchpad take you back to Duckburg, he'll drop you off at a bonus stage where Gyro will fly around dropping off diamonds as the screen auto-scrolls to the left. This can definitely help if you're trying to shoot for the $10 million goal. So like I mentioned before, it doesn't matter what order you choose these levels, so I'm just going to go from top to bottom on the list. The first one is the Amazon. Whatever you do, don't try to pogo attack the red plants. They'll jump up and snag you into their mouths. Going down this vine is a good idea because you can find some extra treasures over this wall, and Webby's doll that'll give you an extra life. When you go past these spiked areas, don't release the pogo jump with the cane or you'll get hurt. After climbing back up, head back left and go up this middle vine that'll give you some extra money. Later on, Launchpad flies around like a drunk trying to help you get across. You grab the rope, but the tough part is getting across without smacking the bee and falling into the pit. The best bet is to jump as soon as you see the bee and keep yourself to the right of it, but within reach of the platform. Or you can just jump right into it and land safely since it won't be too long before you find a power-up. Just don't try that method when you're really low on health. Right after this, you climb up a vine that'll take you into some kind of strange floating in midair temple. Launchpad, who you just saw 5 seconds ago, has somehow managed to catch up to you and is already waiting to fly you back to Duckburg. Tell him no so you can go through this little hidden area and grab some more treasures. Then come back, let him take you to Duckburg, and go through the level again. When you get back to this spot, be ready to pogo jump past this spiked area as fast as you can to avoid the giant rolling, rotting tomato. After dealing with some of these dogs that throw plunges at you, this statue will give you the option of paying $300,000 to pass through. First of all, if I were in Scrooge's shoes, I'd find it kind of disturbing that an inanimate stone object was talking to me and asking me for money. But then again, I think I would have shit my pants long ago when I first ran into these giant spiders. So a talking statue probably wouldn't have seemed that far-fetched at this point. So if you pay the fee, you'll get a platform which will let you make your way up the vine above you. But you don't want to bother. Just go back and lure one of these plunger chuckers into the room and pogo off him to get up the vine. It'll save you the 300 grand. When you climb up, Dewey gives you the oh-so-helpful advice of using your cane to break through the rocks blocking the treasures. As if you didn't know that one by now. The boss of this level is this duck statue guy that doesn't have any animation or projectile. It just travels back and forth and leaps into the air in a very predictable pattern. Just keep away from it and pogo attack. Very simple. After winning, you'll get the main treasure of the level, the scepter. By the way, each of the main treasures are worth a cool million each, so after beating all 5 levels, that's half of the 10 million you need for the good ending right there. The other 5 million you have to find throughout the game yourself. Next level is Transylvania, and look, it's a haunted house level. There's something we haven't seen before. Well, this game was made before it really became over cliche, and even when it did, at least it's a cool cliche. Anyway, in this level there are mirrors that will teleport you to other areas of the house. Now see how this first one I see doesn't send me anywhere? Remember that. If you swing your cane at these suits of armor, you may end up finding a treasure chest which you can't open the normal way. You have to swing your cane at the suit again. Be careful though, usually the head will fall off and it'll do damage to you if you get hit by it. One thing you definitely don't want to swing your cane at are these caskets. Every time you do, a ghost will come out after you. And they can be a real pain in the ass in some spots. Look how narrow this hallway is. This ghost shows up and floats right at you, so you want to retreat and then come back again. Ah shit, gotta go back again. Oh, come on now, this is ridiculous. You can just slip underneath him, or just gut it out and take the hit. So at the beginning, Webby tells you that Huey's been kidnapped. So now you gotta save his ass. You climb up this rope and find him right away, trapped in the clutches of this beagle boy. You just send the barrel thing at him and he's easily disposed of. Huey thanks you and informs you that there's an illusion wall in the house. Wow, he went and got himself kidnapped again right away. What a dumbass. After heading right, you'll find the illusion wall right above this casket. Here you'll find the star thingy that'll give you an extra hit point, which definitely comes in handy. If you go through the mirror up here, you'll end up having to ride these wooden carts. Be sure to duck under the low ceiling. And here's a part that might really fuck you over. You have to jump out of the cart just low enough to miss the ceiling, and just high enough so that you don't fall down the pit. And you fall really fast, so it's not exactly easy. You pretty much have to jump out right before the cart disappears into the pit.